First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rokah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and a sincere salutation to you, Akim, you Akwat, that believe in all sincerity. Says you see here the title of this article. Trump says he took the freedom of speech away on flag burning. And you can look this up. This is on the internet under USA Today. They posted this. Okay. I want to say earlier today. It says, key points. Trump said his administration took the freedom of speech away as it relates to flag burnings during a roundtable discussion on Antifa. Trump issued an executive order in August calling for his administration to prosecute people for burning American flags, calling such activity uniquely offensive and provocative. Okay. So let's read a little bit of this article. This is President Donald Trump on October 8th said his administration took the freedom of speech away as it relates to flag burnings, an activity that the Supreme Court has ruled is protected under the First Amendment. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts. And the court said you have freedom of speech, but what has happened is when they burn the flag, it agitates and irritates crowds, Trump said during a roundtable discussion on Antifa. I've never seen anything like it on both sides, and you end up with riots. Trump made the comment after referencing conservative influencer Nick Sorter, who reported being attacked after attempting to stop a flag burning at a protest, according to Oregon Live. Trump also referenced an August 25th executive order that directed his administration to prosecute people who burn American flags. The order describes the flags as the country's most sacred and cherished symbol and said its desecration is uniquely offensive and provocative. The U.S. Supreme Court established that flag burning is protected speech in a 1989 case involving Gregory Lee Johnson, who burned the flag while protesting then President Ronald Reagan's administration. The court found that the First Amendment rights are not limited to verbal or written speech, while the ruling said states may seek to prevent imminent lawless action. It added that actions such as Johnson's are and should be a protected right. Trump reiterated his position that flag burning isn't protected speech during the roundtable, saying, when you burn American flag, you incite tremendous violence. White House spokesperson Abigail Jackson told USA Today Trump will always protect the First Amendment while simultaneously implementing common sense, tough on crime policies to prevent violence and chaos. President Trump will not allow the American flag, a special symbol of our country's greatness, to be used as a tool to incite violence and riots to jeopardize the safety of everyday Americans, Jackson said. Attorney General Pam Bondi said during the executive order signing ceremony in August, the administration could prosecute flag burnings without running afoul of the First Amendment. A man was arrested for burning a flag outside the White House hours after the signing. The U.S. Park Police said it arrested the person for violating the National Park Service's fire policy, which prohibits setting fires except in designated areas or receptacles and under conditions that may be established by the superintendent. Okay, so, and as always, right, what's their stance? Okay, because as we read here, this spokeswoman Abigail Jackson told USA Today Trump will always protect the First Amendment while simultaneously implementing common sense, tough on crime policies to prevent violence and chaos. Supposedly it incites violence when you burn a flag because basically people will get up in arms about it. But which one is it? Okay, seriously, which one is it? Is it gonna take away your First Amendment of freedom of speech or not? Okay. President Trump will not allow the American flag, a special symbol of our country's greatness, to be used as a tool to incite violence and riots. Okay, and that's what they're gonna use. Okay, but burning a flag is nothing, man. Okay, at one point, you could do it. All right, but now you can't. As said here. Okay. A case involving Gregory Lee Johnson, who burned the flag while protesting then President Ronald Reagan's administration. The court found that First Amendment rights are not limited to verbal or written speech. So, this, scriptures say, meddle not with him that is given into change. And that's what these devils are doing. They're constantly changing things. Okay. And they took away freedom of speech, He said it on today. Was it today, October 8th? Yeah, he took the freedom of speech away. Because they're saying that ultimately it's a form of speech. And see, they do this because they know that the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the Israelites are back on their feet, okay, out there on the highways and hedges, speaking his truth. Okay, pretty soon it's going to become a crime. This is what they do, little by little. They enact unrighteous decrees. Okay, that's what this is. That's what this is basically boiling down to. This is Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, say the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Most High, and shall not find it. In that day, the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst. You see? And that's the thirst of this knowledge, this wisdom, this understanding. They're not going to be able to find it. People are going to be looking for the word. Okay, the scriptures speak of cling. That we would not be a reprover to these people. At some point, the Heavenly Father is going to pull the plug on this. Ezekiel 3:26, and I will make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth, and that thou shalt be dumb, and shalt not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. Okay? So judgment is coming, okay, to you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. And this devil who you trust in is showing you, exactly what he thinks about your rights, what he thinks about you, okay, by deporting you so-called Latinos, okay, which that just gives them military power. The police have been weaponized, militarized, so everything is set. This devil is coming down having great wrath. He has but a short time. Okay, so that's what we say, make no turn to the Lord, because the Heavenly Father, he's coming swiftly, man. Real swift. So this devil has to start making his moves. And it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. This is Isaiah 59:14. It says, and judgment is turned away backward, and justice standeth afar off, for truth is fallen in the street, and equity cannot enter. Okay, and we're seeing that so much the more. Our courts oppose the righteous, and justice is nowhere to be found. Truth stumbles in the streets, and honesty has been outlawed. You see, justice is nowhere to be found. Truth stumbles in the streets, and honesty has been outlawed. Nobody wants to speak the truth. Everybody's worried about folly. Honesty is being outlawed. Yes, it says, yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And the Most High Yahweh Bashem Yahushai saw and displeased him that there was no judgment. So that's why the Heavenly Father has to intervene. Because he sees that, even though we're out there on the highways and hedges, there's no judgment. You depart from this world and you become a prey. Okay? You become ostracized by your own people. All right. You can't even say that you're an Israelite because, Esau gets all into a frenzy. It's truly a spiritual war, and that they're losing. So that's why they're moving. They're making their moves, and it's all through the spirit. Trump taking away free speech. Yeah. This is Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. You see, there's trouble coming. It's brewing, through the spirit. These devils they're definitely making moves. Definitely making moves. Jacob's trouble is quickly coming upon us. All right, and we don't know exactly when, but these unrighteous decrees are signs. This whole ICE, going in and having basically no bounds. They can take people, in the hospital, schools, weddings, courtrooms. They don't give a damn. Okay. And now this free speech, yeah. They're letting you Jakes know that they're coming for you. You ain't got no rights. See, they think they're doing a good thing. John 16. These things have I spoken unto you, that ye should not be offended. They shall put you out of the synagogues. Yea, the time cometh that whosoever killeth you will think that he doeth the Most High service. You see, they could even try to kill us, which they are. They're coming, right? The scriptures speak about an insurrection on those that fear Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. All these things will they do unto you because they have not known the Father nor me. Okay. Yeah. Even them putting Jake to death, they thinking they're doing the Most High service, man. These devils are truly, truly deceived, The wisdom hath perverted them. They think the Most High is such as one as themselves, that he's actually with them because he hasn't made a move. But, they're going to see, man. They're going to see shortly, man. That the Most High has them in the trick bag. Using them for to bring about this great collapse of this society in which he's going to reunite himself with the Israelites. So-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, starting with the elect. This is Psalms 58, all right, and 4. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, and they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear the truth, man. They're like a snake that will not hear. Okay, when they're being charmed, right? Snake charmers, charming snakes. They don't. Usually a snake gets put in a trance, but not these snakes. It says, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. Break their teeth, O Most High, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Yahweh. Let them melt away as waters, which run continually. When he bendeth his bow to shoot his arrows, let them be cut. Let them be as cut in pieces. You see? Because the scriptures speak about a fire coming upon America. Fire coming to devour the enemies of the Lord. All right? Starting with Esau, the heathen. 2/3. All right? There's a great destruction. The world once ended with water, but this time it's going to end in fire. Because it has to be purged. Okay? And, they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. But this is all prophecy, man. So there you have it. Donald Trump says he took the freedom of speech away on flag burning, supposedly because of flag burning. Lord willing, you were edified. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem Rokakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and a sincere salutation to you, Akim, and you, Ak, with all sincerity. Shalom.